So I went to the Leap documentary at Genesis Cinema, and not gonna lie, like, it was amazing. I have so much to share about what I learned. I just believe that God is in the business of awakening belief and faith in the earth, in people's hearts, because there's so much perception about, you know, Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Laolua and this is the Laolu Effect channel. I don't even know how to do all these intros these days. I've got hair on my face. And I thought while I had makeup that I would short or film a quick, I thought that I would film a quick kind of review or just like my experience at the Leap documentary premiere. It was amazing, guys. And shout out to Adessy and Stephanie for really putting all of this together, because, man, if you were in the room, you would understand. That's all I would say. So first things first, I think that it was really inspiring, right? You know, the idea or the concept of a leap. So the idea or concept of a leap is to jump or spring forward with, you know, over across a certain amount of distance. And I feel like for them to have pulled something off like this is just amazing. And I really celebrate it. There needs to be more stuff like this. And I think what made it even more special at that premiere was just the fact that they were like, the cinema screening was full. Black faces, and these were creatives, these are writers, these are directors, these are photographers, videographers, you name it. I guess if you're like some kind of creative or somewhat informed or interested like me, you were there. And I took myself on a train from Milton Keynes because I wanted to be there. I wanted to see what this Leap documentary was about. And I think that it met my expectations, like as a doc. And what made it even more powerful was the panel at the end, speaking with director Kobe, David Larby, Henry, I've forgotten her name, but yeah, like, and Courtney Daniela, who facilitated the panel. Like, it was just amazing. It was soul food. It was the kind of environment you want to be in if you're looking for encouragement or infilling of faith and belief for what you want to do next. So I loved the fact that it was like a hub for networking for Black people across various kind of creative disciplines who were just there. And the thing is, I don't think it was just a thing where it was necessarily a massive motive for big groups of people. It's kind of just like we see something that people in our community are doing, let's go out and support. And to me, it proved that we can do that. We do back things that we believe in that are done excellently. Have to shout out to Adessy and Stephanie again, because it was like a really kind of beautiful experience. Secondly, there is this big screen showing me a documentary of these two Black women who took a leap of faith, went to Hollywood to go and like explore, discover, I don't know, figure out the next phase of their creative careers. And I just thought it was so bold. And second of all, when you see all these kind of documentaries by Refinery 29, all these kind of like modern news brands, you see Black faces, but I think that it meant more to me seeing two Black females leading, creating a documentary, meeting with people in the documentary and learning from them. And it was like watching a vlog of like your long distance best friends that aren't really your best friends. That's how I would describe it. And I loved it. So I was listening to a podcast episode a few days ago by Omar Telkori. I don't remember, the Debt Department podcast. And he basically says when you don't have belief, you either have to buy it borrow it, or build it. And I feel like these ladies did all of those things. When they didn't have the belief, they had to build it. They built it by going on this trip to California, to LA, Hollywood. They borrowed it from the people that they interviewed. They interviewed Hamza, Jovan. There was another guy's name that I don't remember, but it was so authentic, and you have to appreciate the creativity that went into it, the thinking behind, you know, like what actually makes people go after their dreams, what helps them get there. And I love this kind of content. Although I feel like belief is the first stage, I think if you have enough of it, it should carry you through. And if you're disciplined in building belief, you would never lack it, if that makes sense. So for many people, this Leap documentary screening was either a seed, or it was like water on a plant, or it was like sunshine for something that's already fully grown. Either way, you will have been fueled or fed from the inspiring conversation, the themes that went from beginning to end, and even throughout the conversations with the panelists that were speaking afterwards. I didn't really have much to complain about. I just thought it was really great. And I'm finding lots of ways to say it was really great. I even think that they are releasing it to the public. So please go and find it, watch it. It was just inspiring to watch their story, to watch the whole thing play out. Seeing how they secured funding, and even though they filmed it over a year ago, just seeing everything that has happened as a byproduct of taking a leap of faith, of taking a leap of believing in themselves enough to consider it worth it. It was worth watching that play out. So obviously I'm a businesswoman, right? I'm a business leader. I'm the COO at Neo Group, and we hold events. And in Birmingham, you know, people like to contrast the difference between London community and Birmingham community. And there's often conversations about how, you know, London people support each other a lot more. But like there's still a level of support for events and activities that happen in Birmingham when people know about them, right? I love the fact that people turned out, like there were hundreds of people there. But more importantly, I was sat there in that cinema thinking, this is actually possible. It's possible to gather people of like-minded value, of viewpoints, and bring them together and empower them, inspire them, add value to them, and have everyone leaving feeling like they've actually collected or received something tangible. And I believe that the reason why it was so tangible is because when you go on the journey of inspiring, empowering, you will always have to apply faith. And, you know, the director and the writer behind the documentary are both Christians, right? And you could feel that. You could feel like God was really in the room. The themes of conversation, it was empowering. And I think that even if I were in that environment as someone that doesn't believe in God, or maybe, you know, just agnostic or whatever, didn't subscribe to Christian faith, I would have collected a tangible dose of, I can do this, let's get this stuff done. I was listening to Erwin McManus, who is like a designer. They call him a polymath, but he's kind of like an everything. He's an innovator, a designer, a creative. And he talks about how he disciplines his life in saying yes to opportunities. And so in him saying yes, he creates trends of leaps in his life that create serendipity. If you don't know what serendipity is, Google is your friend. But also, serendipity is positive outcomes from taking decisions to do things, essentially. And I feel like that's so, you can parallel that with taking leaps of faith or taking a bet on yourself or self-belief, because you realize that actually without belief, you are not going anywhere. I have a whole folder on Instagram when I see content that is of a theme that I call success theory. I just put it there. And for me, I believe a lot of success theory, a lot of why people become successful is because they choose to believe. In fact, they believe to the point where they're almost considered delusional. They're just crazy, but they go after it and they do not relent. And I love that. I love that. I think on my own journey of taking leaps, doing this YouTube channel, I just see how much when you say yes, when you put yourself out there, when you make yourself uncomfortable, you're opening up opportunities for yourself to benefit, opening up opportunities for growth, opening up opportunities for more opportunities when you leap. And so I feel like as much as I was there just watching to support, just showing out, I just felt like I received like a good dose of this is it, and this is why you need to take yourself seriously, and this is why you need to believe in the ideas that you have, and this is why you need to take risk, because if you don't, no one's gonna know, but you will, and you always have that question in the back of your head. I remember going to Dubai about 2 years ago, and Dubai struck oil the same time as Nigeria, my home country. And you look at what Dubai has become over the years, and it's just mind-blowing. It's excellent. It's a great experience and very expensive. I recommend it. This is why people love it, right? But when I was in the taxi driving to my accommodation in Dubai, I just got out of the airport, I was thinking, wow, like this entire city was in someone else's imagination at some point. And now I am looking around, walking and living and breathing in someone's imagination. And that's how powerful belief is. Self-belief, faith, like it all just creates this fusion of, manifestation, the ability to create and bring to pass what was in one's heart or what was in someone's mind. And I love that process. I love observing it when others do it. But even more, I love seeing how I can now do the same thing, like birth and bring forth similar things. So another thing that I learned is that as a hybrid of these two industries, like I work in tech, but I also am a bit of a creative, I guess. I accept that. I accept that the two worlds cross over for me. I realize that there are similar challenges, I mean, not a lot of the talk, but some of the themes that I picked up in the room is that, in the creative industry, there's only so much room for certain people. And in the UK, they tend not to take risks on ideas or people. They would rather see America do it, and then, they back that. And also the culture here is a lot more reserved. But one of the reflections of Stephanie and Adessy was just the fact that in America, you have to be audacious. You have every right to be in the room. And it's like, they're audacious about nothing. They're audacious about not having done much. How much more people who have done the work, who have put themselves out there, who have, I was going to say grinded, but is grinded? No. Who have worked hard. Let me just say worked hard. And I loved that. And I realized, wow, Laulu, like, you need to be more audacious. Like, why are you not being bold? Why is it okay to be more reserved about what you can do? And I guess to a certain extent, the answer is that I have for a long time allowed the environment that I was in to condition me and teach me how to behave rather than coming in with the full force of who I am and just being that without, without intimidation of that. Oh. One last thing. I was speaking to one of the company advisors, and he's more or less a mentor to me. And he said, if you're not experiencing the imposter, it's a sign that you're not growing. And I was like, huh. Because a lot of the time we're trying to quieten or stop the imposter from speaking, but actually, he said, One of the reasons, he said, I'm the king of imposter syndrome. I experience it all the time. I am continuously putting myself in situations where my wife has to tell me, you're amazing, you're good at this. There's a reason why you're in the room. And I thought that's so interesting, because sometimes we're so quick to say, how do I get over imposter syndrome? How do I make it quiet? How do I, not experience it? But that's actually not the point of the imposter. And he said that, I believe this is from the Habits book, but he talks about Atomic Habits. He talks about how the brain creates the imposter whenever you do not have enough information or data about that experience that you're in. So if you continue to be in experiences or environments where you are familiar and your brain is like, yeah, we got this, cool, X, Y, and Z, you know the plan, do what we normally do. If you are constantly or continuously pushing yourself and putting yourself in environments where your brain is now like going into imposter mode, because they're like, we should not be in here, we do not know what we're doing, because technically your brain is saying, I do not have enough information about this environment to help you right now. And that's good, because it shifts you into the realm of faith and belief, where you now have to understand that you're not in the room necessarily because you're the most qualified. You're in the room because someone considered you worthy, whether it was a supernatural reason, whether it was because you supernaturally found yourself in the room, or because you were favored by someone and you were in the room. However you found yourself in that room, you're now in the room. I just thought I would share that, because that was just like yeah. So anyway, towards the end of like the panel after the screening, David Larby said something that really stuck, because one of the audience members said, what do you do when you've believed, you've worked hard, and it's taken years and it still hasn't happened? And he was like, you're not done until it's happened, essentially. And I was like, you're not done until it's happened. I was taking notes. That statement meant a lot to me, because I think that for some of us who have dreams, waiting for an opportunity, doing the work, moving forward, doing something, like we look like swans on the water, but we're expending a lot of energy trying to become, it kind of sat really, not heavy on my heart, but it really landed and was really obvious to me that sometimes that process of growth, it will take some years. And I think the more you've put in, it compounds, right? You look at someone like Jeff Bezos, who was running this tiny business for a good, 12, 15 years until Amazon became Amazon, and now he's a billionaire. If you ask him, were those 12 to 15 years of being quiet in the background, not being really that known for this concept, this idea, would he probably do it again? Probs, to have the kind of outcome or output that he has. And I've been thinking a lot about this channel and the sort of stuff that I want to speak about. And I think right now in this phase of my life, I like talking about performance. I like talking about productivity. I like talking about success theory, because I'm very much on that journey, and I'm learning that it's important to observe who you're becoming as you achieve success, not just making success the be all and end all, but like, how are you evolving as a person? Because if you're to truly be successful, the process hasn't made you successful if you haven't transformed and become a better person. And this is why all the people that are like crazy, stupid, rich, working really hard, have similar things to say. Probably because they're all sharing their information and they all listen to each other, but also because I heard Myron Golden say it like this: principles are God's automation, right? When you exercise certain principles, you should just expect that certain things will take place in your life. It doesn't matter how long, it will happen. And you can learn that from Abraham's story, right? He believed and believed and believed for years, but the accumulation wasn't just the manifestation of his son Isaac, it was the manifestation of every person that has ever been a believer after him. That is Abraham's inheritance. You know, like God is like, Abraham, I'm going to give you an inheritance. Can you count the stars? Yeah, that's how many stars that's how many inheritance, what's it called? That's your inheritance, essentially. Can you count the grains of sand? That's how many people would come from you. And he's like, I've only got one son. And even at that point, he didn't have any son. But when you look at the compound of walking with God 100 years with no manifestation, and then all of a sudden it's here, like he must be looking down from eternity like, wow, this is what one seed did for me. It starts to make you think about the journey of success and why we're also in so much of a hurry to achieve certain things, when actually the process is supposed to transform you more than anything, so that you become the cutting edge, heavy hitter individual that you are. And I really just preach it to myself right now, but I so much appreciated everything that the Leap documentary represents, because I just believe that, and this is me being a spirit cocoa, I just believe that God is in the business of awakening belief and faith in the earth, in people's hearts, because there's so much perception about, you know, you can pray and not receive answers and all of these things. But the reality is, like, God does answer, and God does do, and God speaks, and like everything that you've ever seen that has become something was in someone's heart or mind, and they pushed until they had faith, and then they pushed until they were able to do, and then they pushed until they did, and it manifested. So yeah, shout out to Stephanie and Adessy. Like, I love what you guys are doing. I thought it was an amazing documentary for what it represented. I hope I see more stuff from you guys. I know that you promised that there will be more stuff. I'm excited about that. But yeah, well done, guys. And if you're new here, like, share, and subscribe, duh. And I will see you later.